Just checking to see if I'm live. Another day, another live. Hopefully, people will join soon and then we can get started. All right, check, check, check. Can someone tell me in the chat if they can see me, hear me okay? Everything is absolutely okay. Check, someone, thumbs up, something. There are about 20 people online, looks like. All right. Thank you so much for for joining in on another live session. Like I promised, I'm going to do one of these every week. It's either going to be on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday. These are 3 days that it's possible for us to do it on. So I commit to be able to come once a week and just sit and chat about a bunch of stuff. All of the agenda for today comes from the WhatsApp group, right? So there are particular things that I said that we've discussed on the WhatsApp group that we said I talked to you guys about. And so there are about 5 or 6 things, actually, yeah, 6 things that you guys wanted me to talk about. And so that's what I'm essentially going to touch upon today. First things first, welcome everyone. My name is Suraj. I'm one of the co-founders here at Gradvine. As part of my training, I have a chemical engineering undergraduate degree and then went on to Carnegie Mellon to do my master's in energy and data science. After that, started a PhD at Berkeley, dropped out of that PhD, worked in the US for about 4 to 5 years before moving back to India and taking over operations today at Gradvine. Over the last 7 or 8 years, we, which is Seeker and I, have had the fortune to talk to at least 15,000 kids with regards to their ambitions, careers, master's degrees, undergraduate degrees, etc. And so we bring that entire experience to the fore when we come and talk to you. Gradvine is a peer-to-peer mentorship service, which means there's no counselor sitting out of the office here in Hyderabad. You are going to be talking to a near peer, someone who's been in the same shoes as you have, who's gone on to do a master's or an undergraduate degree 2 years ahead of you, and so have an entire idea of what the process looks like, what the reality of a master's degree is on the ground, what does the reality of the job scenario that most of you seem to be asking us looks like, etc. And so they are the best possible mentors for you as you go along in this journey towards applying and getting into some of your ambitious / institutions that you want to go to. Some of the questions that we'll be talking about today are recession in the US. There seems to be a lot of job loss. What does that look like? All about the data science degrees, or everything you need to know about information systems / MIS. Tips for creating a very, very strong shortlist. I'm going to be giving away a lot of material on this. And then a couple of comparisons in terms of industrial engineering versus MEM, data science versus AI/ML, understanding what the SEVIS looks like, right? So SEVIS, maybe we keep that towards the end because that's not something that is relevant to a fall 2025 applicant as of now. So don't worry too much about the SEVIS, but everything else I'm going to go ahead and cover. Of course, I will also take as many questions as I can. And as you know, we usually get about 100, 120 questions. And it's impossible for me to take most of those questions. So disclaimer, I'm not going to be able to do personal profile evaluations. I'm not going to be able to take questions which are around the lines of, hey, my profile is this, I have a GPA of this, XYZ, etc. Can you tell me what universities to apply to, etc. We have a mechanism for it. It's called the free consultation call. Please, for the love of God, don't make me say it again. Just book one for yourself, get on that call, and we will give you all of that information. It's not just for me to give you an entire list of universities to apply to or any critical evaluation of your profile just on a call where there are others as well. All right. So the free consultation is always going to be open. That link will be on the website. Find it. It's on the WhatsApp group. Find it wherever we are. You will see that link. So find that. All right. First question. First question from the group is recession in the US. What can we do about it? All right. Technically, the definition of recession is 2 or more quarters of low growth, negative growth. That's what a recession is. Are we in a recession? Technically, no. But within the technology sector, as you're aware, there have been mass layoffs over the last 2 years or so. There have been 2 lakh jobs across the US, 200,000 or more, 250,000 jobs that have been lost. This is a result directly of the boom period that technology as a sector saw post-COVID. Post-COVID, when everything was opening up, actually during COVID and post-COVID, when everything was opening up, people were doing a lot of stuff online. People were booking, doing a lot of Zoom calls, getting onto internet and playing games, etc., using trading on their phones, etc. And so there was this huge boom in terms of technological products that were being used, and therefore companies hired a bunch of people at extravagant salaries in order to build out the technology, because they thought that that demand for their technology will continue to go up linearly. Unfortunately, once the world opened up, that was not true. The demand slowly started to come back to normal, and therefore companies overhired and did not have a need for so many employees. And that's one of the primary reasons why you see a lot of layoffs, especially within the technology and allied sector. Sounds good? Therefore, right now, are we in a recession? Maybe, maybe not, does not matter. The world is back to pre-COVID levels in terms of the number of people that are getting hired. One or two couple of positive developments that have happened over the last couple of months is anybody that graduated with a master's degree in the month of May from a top 50 institution in the US, now about 80% of them have been able to find jobs. So it's been, what, 5 months, almost 5 months now, 4 to 5 months since they graduated, and 80% of them have been able to find jobs. Second good sign that we are seeing, anybody and everybody, the entire graduating class in May, which is people that are going to be graduating May 15th, around that time, next month, that entire class, about 40 to 50% of them have been able to find jobs already, which is also another positive sign, because if that trend continues, by August, September, our hope, and given that it continues at the same pace, our hope is that about 80% of that class that graduates in May will be able to find their first full-time role in the US. These are very, very encouraging signs. What should you do if there is actually a recession? The best place to be in during a recession is in school, is in college, is in a university. Why? Because you know exactly the kind of skills you need to be able to pick up, and you know exactly the fact that you are at that university, you know exactly what courses you can do, what skills you need, etc. And you can pick those up at the university level itself. And therefore, irrespective of whether there is a recession or not, this is probably one of the best times to go and study, especially in the US, because we are seeing a slow recovery and back to pre-COVID levels. So that's the first question, right? Is there a recession? What can we do about it? Second question, everything you need to know about the data science degree, average salaries, top schools, profiles, experience, etc. All right. Data science degrees are different from computer science degrees. Computer science degrees require some prerequisite courses, which are core programming heavy. So DBMS, data structures, algos, operating systems, object-oriented programming, computer networks, etc. These are prerequisites that you need, without which you will not be able to get into a really good computer science program. However, a data science degree, the only prerequisites are some quantitative ability. And all engineers by default classify as quant guys, classify as folks that have that quantitative ability. Apart from engineers, economists, someone who studied finance in their undergrad, maybe even someone who's done BBA, but with some quantitative specialization during undergrad. All of these guys are eligible to apply for a data science degree. Within data science, some of the more important looking good sort of specializations seem to be the whole idea of AI, seem to be core machine learning and deep learning. So these are some subspecialties within data science that folks should be aware of. What does a master's in data science teach you? teaches you 5 elements of the entire data pipeline. First, data collection. So how do you actually gather data? You can put up cookies on websites, you can have survey forms, how do you design good surveys, etc. All of that. So data collection. Second, data engineering. Once you have collected data, how do you engineer? First of all, how do you clean it? How do you engineer it to go to the right databases in the right structures, etc.? So that's data engineering. Third is data analysis, right? So the ability to actually take into context all of the domain that is there, to be able to slice and dice the data in different forms and to answer specific questions that you want to answer using the data. So machine learning, deep learning, etc., all of this fall under the data analysis piece. Fourth is data-driven decision making. Now that you've analyzed the data, by putting out, let's say, maps or figures and visuals, etc., how can you make a decision based on all of this data? So that's data visualization. And fifth is how do you deploy all of this, the entire engineering pipeline, the analysis pipeline, the data visualization pipeline? How do you integrate all of this within an application or something that can be distributed at scale? So these are the 5 subtopics that are taught within the Masters in Data Science degree. Some good universities that offer the MS and DS: NYU, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, University of Michigan, San Diego, University of Chicago, Berkeley, University of Washington. These are some of the ones that are fantastic with regards to their data science programs. I've also done a video on Masters in Data Science. Please go to the Gradvine channel. By the way, if you're on the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, I should be saying this, otherwise Jeevit's going to murder me. So please make sure to go onto the channel, look at that particular video, and interact with that. So that's everything you need to know about the data science degree. I will come back to information systems, but in the meantime, let's go and take a bunch of questions. First of all, thank you for hosting amazing, informative masterclass. No problem, my pleasure. Which admit I should consider from SJSU, Riverside, Arizona State SE? My recommendation would be San Jose State, just because of the location, but UC Riverside is also a fantastic option. If the idea is to 100% go to a thesis within the master's degree, then UC Riverside makes the most sense. If not, San Jose is your best bet if the idea is to go towards professions. I'm showing 1 year I-20 amount for visa. Am I in big trouble? No, 1 year is absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about it. Do you think someone has 4 machine learning papers in good journals but only has an 8.2, it will help you get into DS programs? Absolutely. Look, again, in order to get into some of the best possible data science programs, of course, you need to have a higher GPA, but along with that higher GPA, you also need to have done a large amount of research within that field. That shows intent to the university. That shows the fact that you're actually interested in doing the data science degree, and therefore it makes sense for you to take up data science. You should be able to get into good institutions with that profile. For US visa, should I apply to German US visa? I don't know the answer to this, man. I can't tell you if you are going to be getting a visa or not without knowing anything else. But if you've gotten into a good university, chances are very high that you will get the visa as well. All right, Rice versus NYU. This is a good sleeker question, but I'm sure the answer is going to be a UIUC MSTM, one of the best programs there is within the MEM segment. Fantastic institution as well. And we've seen a lot of kids that have gotten in have been able to get really good jobs as well. So UIUC would be one of my suggestions out of all of these. UIUC, I'm guessing industrial management. UIUC industrial management out of all of these. Information management. Okay. So the choice out of these will come down to UIUC information management or Northeastern information systems. Either one of these two. If you 100% want the co-op, go to Northeastern. If you want a great tag and a brand, go to UIUC. The others are not something that I would even recommend. You don't need to take about that. How's DS at Stony Brook? Pretty solid. Very, very good. All right. Planning to do masters. Yes, undergrad ending this year. I have a plan, work X. Am I on the right path? Yes, you're on the right path. think about it this way. If that work experience is not going to add any value to your profile, if you're only doing 1 year of WorkX at a semi-decent Accenture, Wipro, day one type of companies, it does not make sense. Go straight out. But if your WorkX is going to be at a Microsoft or an Apple or a startup that's doing fantastic work, then it makes sense for you to stay back for 2 years and then apply. Don't be neither here nor there. 0 or 2. 1 is in the middle of nowhere. Don't recommend that you take only 1 year. Either go straight out or go after 2 years of WorkX. I want to get admission for fall 24. Is it too late? I'm only going to be able to laugh at this question, unfortunately. Folks that you're wanting to start applications right now, folks have already gotten their visas for fall 24. So I'm not the right guy to be answering this question. I don't think it's possible right now. How do you approach teachers or students of universities that you would like to apply to? How do we do it? We have a alumni network. We have an entire established set of mentors. We do it through them. How can you do it? Go on to LinkedIn. That's your best way. All right. The next question from the WhatsApp group. Again, if you don't have the links to the WhatsApp group, make sure to get that. So on the WhatsApp group, there are a bunch of questions that I'm answering today. I've answered 2 already. The third question is everything you need to know about information systems or software engineering degrees. All right. A lot of you do not come from an undergraduate degree in computer science, but still have aspirations of getting into core computer science jobs. The way for you, unfortunately, is not through the masters in computer science. Do not make that mistake. Getting into a master's of computer science at this point in time is one of the toughest things that you will do. And at really good universities, they care about the fact whether you have a computer science undergrad or not. If you don't have a computer science undergrad, it becomes very difficult for someone to get into a master's in CS at a top-rated institution. The ambition is valid. For you to go work in a computer science company or a software engineering company, that ambition is well worth it. But in order to get there are 2 degrees that will help you. For non-computer science students who have a little bit of work experience, there are 2 degrees that make sense for you to take up in order to navigate your career into a computer science-based company, into a software engineering company. These 2 degrees are 1, a master's in information systems, and 2, a software engineering degree. For both of these, ideally having some work experience will help, but we've had profiles that have made it in without any work experience as well. If you don't have any work experience and you're applying, get ready to be rejected from some of the top places, but you will still get into some of the top 20, top 30 sort of institutes for both of these degrees. However, if you have at least 2 years of WorkX and a good GPA, irrespective of what that work experience has been, you have a very, very good shot at getting into the top 10 institutions for information systems or software engineering. What does the curriculum look like? For information systems or software engineering, the curriculum is very, very similar to that of a computer science, except computer science has a lot of theoretical subjects added on top. So those theoretical subjects are completely removed. Software engineering is basically going to be the practical applications of computer science. So you're going to study a lot more of cloud computing. You're going to be studying how to serve applications at massive scales. How do you do data engineering? How do you build the entire software engineering pipeline? How do you do continuous integration, continuous deployment? All of these are things that you will learn during an information systems or a software engineering degree. Now, compared to computer science, do I get an equivalent job or not? The answer to that question is it depends. If you have the same skill set as that of someone who has done a master's in computer science, you will get the exact same job at the exact same salary. No questions asked. But it's a question of skill. Are you able to take the right kind of classes? Are you able to take the exact same classes that the computer science student has taken, etc.? If you are, then you get the exact same opportunities, exact same salaries as well. So for anybody who does not have an undergraduate degree in computer science, but still has ambitions of working in the software engineering or the information systems industry or computer science industry overall, these are 2 degrees that make sense. All right, let's go back to taking a bunch of questions again. If I get my bank loan sanctioned in mid-May, I-20 the next few days, it's possible. Of course, it is possible. Even if You get every document in place towards the end of May. You will still have time for you to find that slot, so you should be okay. Which flight should be best? Every flight is the same, my friend. I don't think there's any difference between an Air India or an Etihad or an Emirates. Anyone that you find for the cheapest amount of money, that's the best flight for you. Will internship what is the question? Count as masters as 6 months? No. Full-time work experience. That's the only thing that will count. Do I need to show parents ITR if I'm showing 10, 15 lakhs extra? You don't need to show ITR as long as you're showing bank statements. You should be okay. NCSU versus Stony Brook. This is a question that I've answered many, many times now. My 100% recommendation would be Stony Brook, given the location advantage, given the fact that I think Stony Brook is a better curriculum as compared to NCSU. Both are at the same level in terms of reputation, etc. Stony Brook just takes the cake in terms of the location. I have 3 years of work ex in IBM. Will they prefer me over a college grad? Yes. If you're applying to a professional master's degree. If you're applying to research-based, thesis-based masters, maybe not, because you will need to show a significant amount of research or thesis, but you should be okay if you're applying to a professional master's degree. What about Chapel Hill? Fantastic institute. It's the #1 public university in the state of North Carolina. I would put it at the same level as an NCSU. For a master's degree, NCSU is slightly better, but if you're getting into either a industrial engineering, a computer science degree, or the MIS degree at Chapel Hill, it's a fantastic investment. Eller is actually known for its MIS program. Eller also offers a dual degree with the MBA, MIS MBA, and that's why we rank it very, very highly. Even though University of Arizona has a locational disadvantage, we think that the Eller program is very, very, very solidly constructed for someone who's looking to make the shift from an individual contributor to a manager. That's one of the reasons why we rank it highly. The other reason why we rank it highly is because we've seen fantastic outcomes for our students that have gone there. So from a getting out perspective, they've done very, very well, and therefore it makes sense for you to have done a degree from Eller as compared to some of the other ones. $8.15, would you get into a top 50 CS? The answer is yes, but I still need to know a lot more about the other stuff that you've done. Northwestern Co-op 71K, I know the cost. 5.5 years project management roles. Tricky question. If you have 5 years of WorkX, I think you will enjoy the Northwestern MEM a lot more than the USC MEM. USC MEM comprises of folks that are younger, lesser WorkX, about 1 to 2 years of WorkX, whereas Northwestern, the minimum amount of work experience that you will need is 3 years. That's why I think as a person, you will probably enjoy the Northwestern MEM a lot more than the USC MEM. At the time of application, I will have 1 year. By the time I will be joining, I will have 2 years experience. Is it enough? Enough for what? I have no idea what it's enough for. How is Stanford MEM? Stanford Data Science. What do you mean how? It is Stanford, my friend. If you get any program there, please go. It's also the home of 2 of my favorite professors, Robert Tipshirani and Trevor Hasty. These are the guys that literally wrote the textbook on statistical learning. So please go there. If you have gotten in, my hearty congratulations. We should definitely talk. I would love to try and understand what you did to get there. But if you're looking to apply, know that the bar is very, very high for you to get in. It is one of the best programs there is for data science or statistical learning. Job opportunities / ROI for a robotics program. Right. 2 years of WorkX, I'm hoping, is robotics WorkX. But in general, my opinions on the robotics program are very, very simple. Don't go too niche. Within robotics, take robotics master's degrees, no problem. While you're at the degree, while you're at the university, make sure to pick up some data skill and not just hardware skill. Because the kinds of companies you will be able to apply to and get in are going to be Uber in their self-driving division, or any other company, Waymo, etc., that are building their self-driving organizations, divisions, etc. The other set of institutions / organizations that you will be able to get in are going to be places that do a lot of data heavy work. And so you want to make sure that your skill set is a lot more generic in nature and don't go too niche and bury yourself into a small hole. Will a single backlog be a will be a blocker for admits in schools like Purdue, Duke, etc.? No. One or two backlogs here and there should be okay. I don't think that's going to be such a big problem. All right. The next question is tips for creating a shortlist, a good shortlist. How should you think about the shortlisting? All right. When you're shortlisting institutions, first of all, the rule of thumb that you have to think about is that every single person, irrespective of how good or bad their profile is, should ideally be applying to at least 8 to 10 universities. Why do I say 8 to 10? Because when you apply to about 8 to 10 institutions, you have a choice at the end of the day to pick at least 1 or 2, and you're able to balance the list a lot more. So from my perspective, irrespective of how good or bad your profile is, you should be applying to about 8 to 10 universities. How should you structure this? There are 3 tiers of students and there are 3 tiers of institutions that you should be thinking about. If you're a tier A student, which is anything that is above an 8.5 GPA, 318 above on the GRE, and some amount of research, internships, or WorkX, if you're in that category, look to apply to 12 universities total, 6 ambitious, 4 moderate, and 2 safeties. Next kind of student is tier B, 7.5 to 8.5. Think of applying to 5 ambitious, 5 moderate, and 2 safety. Tier 3, you have a 6.5 to 7.5. Think about applying to only 3 ambitious places, 6 moderate places, and the remaining 12 out of the 12 remaining safeties. So your increase has to be in terms of the number of safety institutions that you set up for yourself. That's my strategy whenever I'm sitting down and doing shortlists for every single student, which, by the way, if you sign up by the end of the month, I will be your personal shortlist mentor. If you're going to be applying to computer science and allied, Seeker will be your shortlist mentor if you're applying to the industrial engineering or the MEM degrees, right? So if you're signing up for a service with Gradvine, that's one incentive for you, if I may say so. This is the strategy that I employ with every student that comes to me, and we try and figure out what the right combination for you is, and it's almost always one of these 3 formula that I'm able to put up and successfully get students into for some of the fantastic institutions. All right, I have placement season in my college just after the summer. I would like to give it a try before going for GRE. The GRE has nothing to do with your placement system. The GRE is a 10th, 11th grade math and science, math and English exam. If you're waiting to give the placements, figure out if you get in and then give the GRE, that's never going to happen. My personal suggestion, give the GRE, get it out of the way, get a good score, keep that in. It's valid for 5 years. So it's not like even after you start a job, you can't use that score. You can 100% use that score. That GRE is also going to be able to help you with the quantitative sections of some of the placement tests that you will have as well. So my suggestion, give the GRE even before you sit for the placements. Use the summer to prepare for the GRE. Views on industrial engineering versus MEM, which is the next question that is on the list for me. All right. If you are someone that likes a lot more quantitative coursework, optimization, supply chain and management, route planning, etc., industrial manufacturing processes, etc., if that's the flavor that you want, then industrial engineering is the right fit for you. However, on the other hand, if you're looking to go into technology, if you're looking to go into product management, if you're looking to go into program management, etc., then the MEM is the right fit for you, right? Between both of these 2 degrees, it's just a question of which one you are more inclined towards or interested in, not so much that differentiates them from a jobs perspective. At this point in time, jobs from both industrial engineering and MEM seem to be pretty straightforward in terms of the level at which you're going to get in. It's just a matter of which area of interest you have. Syracuse versus UC Riverside, I would highly recommend UC Riverside, much better location. Also, of course, it's California, and therefore, in terms of the kinds of job opportunities that you'll have, completely on a different league as compared to Syracuse. All right, let's go up and see if there are any questions that we missed out. Bunch of questions have come in. 330 plus on the GRE, does that help get into a really good university? It doesn't hurt you, right? Let me put it that way. As long as you have above the cutoff, you should be good. But having a 330 plus on the GRE is fantastic just to show off to the university that you've not only done well academically, you've also done well on that standardized test. You have a very, very good reason for why you're applying to this particular university. And you know for a fact that if you get in, you're going to be above the standard that they have set. Do I need to give IELTS again if score is expiring around September, October? We will have to write emails to every single university that you're applying to and ask them for a waiver. But in most cases, you should be able to get the waiver. You don't need to give it. How is Case Western for MSCS? It's okay. I wouldn't rate it as a top 50 institution in the US for CS, but it's fine. Madison versus Texas A&M for ECE. Oh, fantastic question. Madison has the better curriculum, but Texas A&M has the better return on investment. If finances are even 1% concern, go to Texas A&M. If not, head to Madison. It's a fantastic ECE program. Stony Brook versus Indiana. I don't think there's a question. Go to Stony Brook, much better location. Indiana, of course, is fantastic for the data science program, but Stony Brook is pretty good. Can we easily change from tech to non-tech role in the US? After getting a little bit of work experience, yes, you should be able to get. What's your overall opinion on the RISE MEM program? It's good. It's a good program. Has a lot of emphasis on the bio/healthcare side of things. So if that's the flavor you want, go ahead. All right, a couple more questions from the group. By the way, if you're not already on the group, you should find yourself there. What's the next question? MS in data science versus MS in AI/ML programs. All right, here's my take on it. Artificial intelligence is the new sexy. Everybody wants to do it. Nobody understands what it is before they get into the university and start studying it. My recommendation, don't do standalone AI. Do a much wider degree, which teaches you the 5 aspects of data that I talked about, because that opens up a lot more job opportunities for you as compared to just a machine learning engineer. With a ML or a AI degree, the opportunities, the surface area of opportunities decreases. And that's not something you should be doing when you're an international student going to the US and need to depend on a visa. Broaden your opportunity scope, broaden the surface area of opportunities that you can target after the master's degree that you do. And in order to do that, make sure that you take up a master's in data science as compared to a master's in AI or machine learning. Sounds good? All right, let's look at a bunch of other questions. Can I make a detailed video for biotech background? Sure, okay, we will make a video. But just so you know, there are a couple of programs that you should 100% look at. The most popular and in my head, one of the best degrees that you can do as a biotech, biomed kind of person is a bioinformatics degree. Right now, the number of biotechnology and healthcare companies that are hiring folks that understand the domain but also have mathematical and quantitative orientation combined with some sort of programming ability is way too many. So bioinformatics would be the most popular and the most rewarding choice. But of course, there are a bunch of other things as well. Masters in English management. I'm assuming it is engineering management. I don't know what the question is here. So working only for 10 months as a graduate engineer trainee reduce my chances of getting into a good university? No, it doesn't reduce it. It's just not the best strategy. If you have at least 2 years of work ex, great. If you have a need to apply, we will still make it work. Please make sure to schedule a free consultation. We'd love to work with you. But I think ideally maybe a little bit more work ex. Is 8 years work ex too much for an MEM and project management? For an MEM, I would say it is too much. Look at an MBA. If not an MBA, look at a product management degree. So think of Mellon's MS, PM. Northeastern has a project management degree. Those are the kinds of degrees that you should be doing. MEM is probably not the right fit for you. All right, we are at 6:45. I think that's the end of my time. Couple of things that I want to talk to you guys about. One, timeline. You are almost at the end of April. If you are a fall 2025 applicant, you must get started now. Give the GRE before the end of July. Get that score. Keep it in your pocket. Approach the applications in the season, which is August to October. For everybody that is on my live stream, there is one big takeaway for you today. Apply as early as possible. One of the biggest things that you will get when you apply early is the ability to actually submit fantastic applications. So apply as early as possible. What do I mean when I say as early as possible? Your internal deadline to submit all applications should be November 15th. We've seen significantly higher, 22% chances higher of getting into a same university and degree as compared to someone else who has the same profile as you when they applied early versus applying later on. November 15th should be your internal deadline, which means working backwards, you should get started with the process as early as right now. That's the link for you to schedule your free consultation call. We'd love to discuss completely your entire profile, give you suggestions on what you need to do, and of course, talk to you about what Gradvine does and how we'll be able to help you. But that's going to be the smallest part of that consultation, I promise, right? We will make sure that it is customized and tailored to you guys. Therefore, I want to see as many of you as possible on that free consultation call. Hopefully, this was a session that was useful. Please make sure to add yourself onto the WhatsApp community. Srikar and I are on there. We are answering a bunch of questions as well. And so we'd love to take as many questions as possible on that and just go through that all together. Make sure you're on that community. Engage with our YouTube content. Just like, share, subscribe, all of that. That's the link to the WhatsApp community just in the chat section. Just make sure to add yourself there. And then I will see you on the next live session 1 week from now. Sometime Friday, Saturday, or Sunday from a very exotic location this time around, hopefully. So I'm gonna see you guys next week. Till then, take care. Have a good rest of the